Live from Washington, this is BBC News. Large explosions are seen in Gaza as Israel's bombardment only builds. Israel also says it's expanding its ground operations. The UN calls for an immediate humanitarian truce as 120 countries vote in favour of a resolution. Meanwhile, the humanitarian situation in Gaza grows worse. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says that 7,000 people have been killed since Israel's bombing began. I'm Helena, Humphrey, and you're joining me for the BBC's ongoing coverage of the Israel-Gaza war. Now, there have been waves of intense Israeli airstrikes over Gaza, much heavier than in previous nights. The Israeli army says it's increasing the number of airstrikes on the territory and expanding its ground force operations. Now, in Gaza, sirens are warning of more rocket fire to come, and in communications, including phone and internet, have been cut off, making it nearly impossible for residents to reach anyone. Now, amid the darkness, explosions are intensifying, and the Israeli Defense Forces is warning Gaza City residents to move south for their safety. Now, Hamas's military wing says that it is clashing with Israeli forces in northern Gaza and targeting two southern Israeli cities with, quote, intense missile barrage. Now, an overwhelming majority of the UN General Assembly voted in favour of an immediate truce in Gaza, adopting a resolution that condemns all acts of violence against Palestinian and Israeli civilians. It calls for unhindered aid and the protection of civilians, and we'll bring you more on that later in the programme. It's happening as the humanitarian situation in Gaza is growing increasingly dire. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society says that they will run out of fuel in the coming hours and will be unable to provide emergency medical services in Gaza without fuel for ambulances. Well, here's our international editor now, Jeremy Bowen, who has the latest from Jerusalem.
Not long after dark, the bombardment of Gaza intensified.